week. That's crazy. 7 days until July. So we have July, August, September. Holy cow. I want to talk about the immigration, ICE, and the junk removal industry. Let's get into this video right now. What's up, guys? It's Ricardo, junkguysdfw, owner of the largest independently owned junk removal service here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And I own 2 haunted houses in Dallas and in Fort Worth. Let's talk about the immigration and the effects it's had, because I've noticed it, all right? So you might not think that immigration and ICE raiding a New Palace restaurant yesterday in Fort Worth, Texas. I noticed that. And about a few weeks ago, I was in Dallas, and nobody talked about this in the news. I was in Dallas, and I was driving down, let me think about that, Independence Parkway in Dallas. Oh, no, it's not, it's Marilla Parkway. And there's a Pilgrim's Chicken over in the right side, and it's not in the best neighborhood at all. And when I looked over to the right, I noticed police cars, Dallas police officers, but then I noticed ICE trucks, like these big old trucks, and I noticed a caravan, a huge like school bus looking, and they were taking people out of Pilgrims and loading them, and there was no media around. There was no media, and I was just like, what's going on? And I drove past them, and they didn't even notice me. And I noticed that they were taking undocumented workers, which was crazy. And I was like, wow, I didn't know it hits that close to Texas, you know, or the effects that it takes in this area. Are we getting affected by the Juans, the Carlos, the Gabriel, los Joses, los Marcos, los Carlos, junk removal services, these illegal junk removal documented worker owners that are working in junk removal and don't have the paperwork? Are we being affected by it? 100% yes. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? And I'm going to easily tell you why. Well, these business owners are just trying to make a living. Is it taking effects on us, the documented, legal Americans that we are? Are my people that are getting deported have an effect on what I do here in the DFW area? Am I wearing my hat backward? No. Of course we are. So let's just hypothetically think there are 10 junk removal companies, 10 of them, okay? And out of these 10 junk removal companies, there are 100 jobs in the DFW area. Let's just say that today there are 100 jobs in this area. Then that is an average of 10 jobs per person, okay? Because if you do 10 junk removal companies, they use multiplying by 10, that is 100, okay? There are 100 jobs in the DFW area right now. Let's just hypothetically say that. And out of those 10 owners, there are 3 business owners that are undocumented. That means they are Hispanic, maybe African, maybe Indian, maybe from, I don't know, Venezuela, Barbados, any other place. And they are scared to go out and do junk removal. They are scared to do junk removal because of the deportation and ICE. Are they going to have an effect on people like me and the industry? So I just put that up, okay? Let me just say, 100 jobs in DFW today, 10 junk removal companies. But out of those 10, 7 of them are legal and 3 are done, they're scared, or they've been deported. Does it take an effect? Of course it does. Because see, out of those 10 companies, each one of them are going to do 10 jobs. But if 3 of them are missing, that's 30 extra jobs. And where does that 30 jobs fall on? Us. We take over the slack. So now it's 7 companies out of 100. Do you see what I mean? Out of 100 jobs, there's 7 companies. Now how many are we going to do, each of us? So it's easy, guys. You get 100. You divide it, 7, and you get a number. So 7 times 3, 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times, so you get more jobs. Regardless, there's more jobs out there for us. Okay? And that's what happens in the junk removal industry. We'll each average about 12 jobs now, or 13 jobs apiece. And now it's increased. So imagine, if you're not thinking like me, does immigration have an effect in the junk removal world? Are there a lot of undocumented junk removal owners out there? Yes, there is. There's a lot of us. Now, do and will they have an effect on the future of junk removal? Of course they will. They're never going to come back and do junk removal. At least not for the next 3 years. And the situation is this, is that right now ICE is really hard. They're pressing really hard to deport all these workers, all these people that are either crime, that be committed a crime, or they're just undocumented workers. It doesn't matter. They're illegally here. Will they have an effect on my business? Of course they will. And I think as time goes and it's going to be a long-term effect. I know for a fact it's not a short-term effect. It's a long-term effect on what kind of effect these companies will have on your business. And I'm going to tell you, they do have a huge effect on business. They have a huge effect in the junk removal business, in the food business, in the bricklaying, the landscaping. They will have an effect. Because see, guys, most of the workers out there are undocumented. Most of the workers that do street jobs are undocumented workers, okay? And once they're deported or ICE is after them, there's going to be those lack of jobs out there. So it's the same thing for the junk removal business. There's going to be lack of jobs out there. There's going to be owners that cannot do the jobs, and those people are being deported, so there's an opening of more jobs. So because of ICE and the immigration laws, we are going to have an increase in jobs. Okay, so I want you to think about that, and that's what we're going to talk about Tuesday night in junk removal, about the effects of immigration in the junk removal industry. Okay, guys. Anyway, I thought I'd say that note really fast. I had someone call me about it, and I decided to talk about it. I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Have a great week.